In this problem, we're going to look at what changes when you have a 2-volt battery attached to a parallel plate capacitor and you change the plate spacing from 0.001 meters to 0.002 meters. We have a 2-volt battery attached to this capacitor where the plate spacing is 0.001 meters and the surface area of the plates is S. So we'll have a charge form on the plates, let's call that Q sub 1, and we will have an electric field intensity of 2 volts over the plate spacing, or 2 times 10 to the third volts per meter. And let's say the energy stored on the capacitor is 1 joule, which we know is equal to the energy density times the volume of our capacitor, or 1/2 epsilon sub 0, the magnitude of the electric field intensity squared times the volume of our capacitor. And we're going to assume free space between the capacitor plates. Now we're going to take our plates and pull them apart to a separation of 0.002 meters while leaving the battery attached to the capacitor. Since now we have 2 volts dropped across 0.002 meters, our electric field intensity now will be 1 times 10 to the third volts per meter. The energy density in the electric field will be 1/2 epsilon sub 0 times E sub 2 squared, the magnitude of the electric field intensity squared, which is half of the electric field intensity we had when the plate spacing was just 0.001 meters apart. So that's 1/4 times 1/2 epsilon sub 0 times E sub 1 squared. So the energy density now has dropped to 1/4 of the energy density we had when the plate separation was just 0.001 meters. So the energy is the energy density times our volume, which we see is half the energy we had before the plates were separated. So the energy stored in the capacitor has been reduced to 1/2 joule. So we reduced the energy stored on the capacitor by 1/2 joule. And that 1/2 joule of energy went back into the battery because as the plates were separated, to maintain the same voltage drop, the electric field intensity had to drop, which meant the amount of charge on the plate had to drop, and that occurred by the charge flowing back into the battery. And so that's where the 1/2 joule of energy went. It went back onto the battery. So the amount of charge halved as we doubled the spacing between the capacitor plates.